Okay, good afternoon. This is Roger Erickson with the National Weather Service here in Lake Charles. We're doing our weekly weather update through the usual way on the webinar. We're also doing a YouTube Live that will be archived after the fact. So opening slide here, you can see the top story of the day is looking at the potential for severe storms on Monday afternoon into Tuesday morning. We'll be talking about that as we get later on into this little slideshow. Starting out the slideshow today, we're looking at the tropical weather update. There's a low pressure area out there north of the Lesser Antilles Islands that we're currently monitoring. This system is forecast right now to be a 50% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone. The good expect to be going off to the north-northwest, now towards any land-based areas. So that can be a factor for sure for us in the Gulf of Mexico or locally here in southwest Louisiana or southeast Texas over the next week. We'll be monitoring all the other activity. There are some tropical waves that we're watching out there, but at least in the next week, we're not expecting any activity to be developing in the Gulf of Mexico. The next slide is our usual slide that we showed the rainfall seen in the past week. You can see pretty much area-wide we had at least an inch of rain. Some of the higher spots that got maybe between 2 and 3 inches of rain extended from portions of Calcasieu Parish up in the Beauregard, Allen, and Vernon parishes. And we are expecting another round of rain, especially with this system coming in Monday and early Tuesday. That's going to give us another inch, maybe 2 inches of rain again. Now, looking at kind of the big picture here, the water vapor satellite imagery, you notice the trough of low pressure out across the Rocky Mountains. That's going to be kind of the impetus for the system as it moves west to east across the central United States. That's going to be the focus for the weather moving in our area early next week. The service map looks like this. There's kind of a stalled out frontal boundary from the Carolina region, moving west across the Midwest towards Kansas. There is a low pressure area starting to develop in Kansas, but the primary focus is going to pressure area developing out of the Rocky Mountains as it moves and kicks this frontal boundary off to the east later on this week and early next week. The next slide we're looking at here indicates the low temperatures that we saw this morning. Temperatures in general were from the mid-60s to the mid-70s. Warmer temperatures, of course, near the coast, and cooler temperatures up in central Louisiana, as well as several locations across southeast Texas. As of 2 o'clock this afternoon, temperatures varied quite a bit from about 80 to 90 degrees. In general, the cooler temperatures are near the coast or near where the isolated showers and thunderstorms that have developed this afternoon. The next slide shows where those isolated showers and thunderstorms have developed. You can see, looking at our picture here, that there's a few showers that developed up across Avoyelles, Rapides, Vernon parishes, and then a little bit more scattered down across the remainder of Texas. We aren't expecting a large coverage of activity this afternoon, and as sunset comes in later on this evening, we're expecting this activity to weaken and fall apart. Here's a weather map that we got coming on for tomorrow morning on Friday. You notice the shower and thunderstorm activity developing along the frontal boundary there to our north. For us locally, we're expecting temperatures to start out in the upper 60s to lower 70s, quite a bit above normal. Normal low temperatures this time of year are in the low 60s to upper 50s, depending on where we're talking about in the area. So we're probably a good 10 degrees warmer than normal associated with that. High temperatures are going to be similar to today, probably in the 85 to 90 degree mark, perhaps a little bit cooler as you get closer to the coast. Winds will be blowing out of the south 10 to 15 miles an hour, and similar to today, we're going to be carrying about a 20% chance of shower and thunderstorm activity. We're also expecting the chance for maybe a little bit of patchy fog first thing in the morning that we've had the last couple of days. By Saturday morning, you can see that the shower activity looks very similar to what we're expecting tomorrow, maybe sagging a little bit further to the south, but really for our areas, temperature-wise, similar numbers, upper 60s to lower 70s, highs in the upper 80s, with a 20% chance of shower and thunderstorm activity. We start bumping it up by Sunday up to maybe a 30% chance of thunderstorms as the frontal boundary starts to approach our region. Temperature-wise, maybe a little bit cooler because of the cloud cover. And then by Monday is really the big story that we're looking at and focusing on through the weekend, and especially since Monday's a federal holiday. For those of you that won't be at work on Monday, we'll be monitoring this through the weekend, updating it on our social media sites as well as our email list that we distribute to let people know any changes that come up with this forecast. But right now, what we're looking at here for by Monday morning, a low pressure area up in Missouri, cold front extending down across Oklahoma and Texas, and a very large area of shower and thunderstorm activity developing out in front of that. Timing of this activity this far out is not reliable, but in general, we're expecting the activity to get into our area at some point in the Monday afternoon time frame, and then be out of our area by Tuesday morning. Now, because of this system and the gradient winds associated with this low pressure area, we are expecting it to be rather windy as well. We're forecasting winds blowing out of the south on Monday, 15 to 20 miles an hour. We could see gusts up to 30 miles an hour. And then by Tuesday morning, the front's passed us, and we're expecting the winds to be out of the northwest, also maybe 15 to 20 miles an hour, with those gusts upwards of 25 or 30 miles an hour. Temperatures, once we get behind this cold front, are going to be dropping off also. The high temperatures on Tuesday may only be in the 70s. So similar to what we saw earlier this week with the cold front, that's what we're expecting for next week. Wednesday, picture here shows high pressure area, the cold front moving along the east coast, and Thursday that high pressure continues across the southeastern United States. So here's our table that we typically look at. Let me know what you guys think of it. Kind of change the format a little bit of it here, showing the color scheme of what everything means. Basically, light rain expected across the area for the next couple of days before that Monday, Tuesday time frame where we could see an inch or so as the front comes through the area. You also notice that we're carrying scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms beginning Sunday through early Tuesday morning. There's going to be that severe weather threat, like I mentioned earlier, mainly damaging winds at this point. So far, we don't see the tornado threat being a significant story for our area. We'll be updating that as we watch this through the weekend, but right now it looks like that will be more of a threat further to our north. The tropical threat, we are outlining in orange for the next 4 days for the Atlantic Ocean, for that system out there that has a 50% chance of developing per NHC. And on the wind categories, you can see that we got windy conditions for both Monday and Tuesday. That's going to affect the tides. On Monday, with the strong southerly winds, we're expecting tides to run above normal. And then when we get behind the front on Tuesday, we're expecting the tides to run below normal. So kind of a busy period for that time frame for people that have issues or work, I should say, along the coastal waterways. The tides are going to be fluctuating quite a bit on the Monday, Tuesday time frame. Temperature-wise, we're running above normal for the weekend. And then once we get behind the cold front, we are expecting temperatures to run a little bit below normal. So here's our summary sheet, mentioning everything all in one page here. Basically, temperatures running above normal through the weekend with isolated showers and thunderstorms possible each day. We're expecting low temperatures in the upper 60s to low 70s and high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. We're expecting a cold front to come through the area probably Monday afternoon, Monday night time frame. There is going to be the possibility of strong to severe storms associated with it, the possibility of damaging winds. It is also looking at maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain possible across the area. Due to the strong winds, we are also expecting it to be a tidal problem where tides are going to be running above normal on Monday, below normal on Tuesday. And then once the front gets through the area Tuesday morning, we're expecting cooler and drier conditions from the Tuesday through Thursday time frame, with low temperatures down in the 50s and highs in the 70s. In the tropics, no activity is expected for our area locally, but we will be monitoring with the National Hurricane Center a low pressure area out in the Atlantic that has the potential to develop into a tropical cyclone over the next several days through the weekend. And that's it from the National Weather Service here in Lake Charles. We're going to wrap it up here on the YouTube version, but we'll also have it open here on the phone call to see if anyone has any questions for us.